don't want this to feel like class or school. Now, what I will be doing, all of you registered. If you didn't, you're an honoree or a special guest, and so I have your communication. I will send you these links and more like the resources that we've been using. But, ladies and gentlemen, this program really tells a story. If you look on the left side of the back side of the program, which is has the times, the first thing that happened was in September, I think the date specifically was September 7th, 1912. There was an assault, and it was alleged that a white woman was being assaulted by numerous black males. And a preacher at that time, after all was said and done, spoke out. As I understand it, there was a cookout amongst the African Americans in the community at that time, and so he spoke out and got around that he didn't have the best or the highest words to say about the young lady, but also he alleged that there might have been some consensual sex as between a white woman and a black male. And for that, he almost lost his life. In fact, the governor had to call in the National Guard because a preacher had said this. They had beat him almost to death and a riot was looming. That was on September the 7th. A few days later, what happened was another white woman was assaulted. And if you read it, it may talk about neural aspects of the human condition, experiences and behaviors, and their interplay as navigational and survival apparatuses in the social environment. We're not wearing his social sciences hat, conducting research and providing instruction as a professor in the School of Arts and Sciences at Atlanta Metropolitan State College. He is a practitioner of narrative and civic poetry. Much of his work provides a critical lens to social justice issues and critique of ecosystems that hinder personal agency and self-actualization. It's deep, y'all. I read it before. It's still crazy to read, though. It's still crazy to read. Come and gather. Memory, trauma, and lessons of Oscarville. Come, let us bear witness to seasons of racial violence and injustices in this country. Some are as familiar as the lines in the center of one's hands. So many unspoken and unknown dark truths are often cloaked beneath shields of harm, pain, and fear. Yet, this exhausting history cannot be denied. Now, we call the name Oscarville, Forsyth County, Georgia. Memory of 1987 activists, marches, a national spotlight, etched in time just like the 1950s when Lake Lanier and the Beaufort Dam carved the land as if a machete in a field ripe of ripe sugar cane. Let us also bear witness, long before then, over 1,000 black people, proud and strong, brave and free, held space, built community, churches and schools, owners of land and businesses. Enter 1912 and allegations of rape and the murder of white women, setting into motion an age-triggered and battle cry for violence. It unfolds, then circles around and back onto itself. A clarion call for racial cleansing reappeared as if it had simply returned home from a short walk. Run! And so, their world, a time, a town, a people changed forever. Footprints and other remnants of life are now covered by water. Come, let us name this festering wound, born out of toxic thoughts and narratives, held hostage over time. Grief and despair sat down
into the hearts and minds of the people who bore witness to Oscarville. It was then passed on to descendants as if a prized inheritance. It is not. It has a name. It is called trauma. This emotional labor, with its sharp, angled edges, is often unseen and ignored. It may kill you, yet it will survive from one generation to the next as if holy and divine. It is neither. Blood dries, bodies decay, memories fade, but trauma endures. Come and gather. Stand tall in this place of remembrance. We must acknowledge this living wound and call it by its name. Also, sound the name and history of other harmed people who walk this lane. The healing, if found lingering beneath those deceptively calm waters, will be bitter, will be a bitter and brutal harvest. You can have these freighted memories of Oscarville from which to learn and grow, but you cannot have this trauma. Let the rolling thunder march, or let the rolling thunder match the energy of the lightning above our heads. Let the sacred word also make room for the mighty sword. Name this wound. Witness it. Split open our conscience and let an urgency flood the land, not with water, but with restorative justice. Come, let us gather and briefly sit with this heartbreak. The table has long been ready, waiting for you and them and them. There are lessons to be learned here. Drag this knowledge into daylight and this uncertain day and a more hopeful tomorrow for our sons and daughters. Now get up. Let us lock arms and proclaim never again. Come and gather. Let the memory of Oscarville erupt and bloom like wild and random spring flowers on the side of a well-traveled road, aching to be seen. Let it become a prayer, a daring and redeeming word, teaching us the legacy of Oscarville. Let it be a lift to higher ground and clearer skies. May this history move forward, absent of trauma. May the hands that carry it be faithful and strong. May it be a ceremony anchored in truth and reverence. May it be a healing space, and in the fullness of time, be a lasting and unburdened memory. Amen. Amen.